We evolved as human beings to move, otherwise it'd be a tree. But can you use something as simple as walking as an effective tool for fat loss? Yes, but only if you do it properly. In this video, I'm going to show you my top 10 tips on how to maximize fat loss using walking as one of your main tools. These are the exact same tips that I give to all my students, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. So you know it works. Before we get started, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Okay, let's start with the most obvious reason why walking is an absolute no-brainer as something to be integrated into your routine. The barrier of entry is zero. Anybody can do it. All you need is to lace up a pair of runners and you're good to go. You get instant access to all the benefits of walking. There's absolutely no downside to it. It's not something that you have to work up to or prepare for. You just do it. More than anything, it gets people out of this all or nothing mindset that if they can't make it to the gym, then they don't end up working out at all. You can just go for a walk instead. Plus, if you're new, the gym can be a very intimidating place, which is honestly one of the biggest reasons why people don't end up going. I'm an absolute gym rat these days, but I was terrified of the gym back in the day. Walking is a piece of cake compared to that. It's basically the minimum effective dose when it comes to getting out of a sedentary lifestyle, which should really be step number one for a lot of people. Number two, walking upregulates your fat-burning metabolism. Yes, running burns more calories than walking. That's why people go for a run all the time. But if your goal is fat loss, then that almost becomes irrelevant. Here's a fun fact for you. Calories burned during your workout does not translate to fat burned in your body. And if you're someone who goes for a run or does some form of cardio every day, counting every calorie burned, but it's not translating to actual fat loss in your body, you already know this to be true. Doing chronic cardio also causes a compensatory uptick in your appetite. So you end up eating more calories as you burn more calories. This is why I always say that it's not as simple as eat less and move more. Your body is a little bit more complicated than that. Walking, on the other hand, almost guarantees to keep you below your maximum aerobic heart rate. That's where you reap maximum aerobic benefits with minimum anaerobic stimulation. This is the infamous fat burning zone. It exists. Yes, walking doesn't burn as much calories as running, but rest assured, the calories you do burn is coming from fat. Walking is a perfect example of less is more in this scenario. If you have an extra couple of bucks, you should get yourself a fitness tracker. They're relatively cheap these days. Preferably, you want to get one with a heart rate monitor so you can track your heart rate as well. To find out your maximum aerobic heart rate, you simply take 180 minus your age, and that is your number in beats per minute. For example, if you're 33 years old, like me, your maximum aerobic heart rate is 147 beats per minute. So that's 180 minus 33 is 147. Your job then is to stay below that number every time you do cardio if you want to stay in the fat burning zone. Again, walking almost guarantees to keep you below your maximum aerobic heart rate because you're just moving at an easy pace. Having a fitness tracker is also kind of nice because it helps keep you accountable. It tells you how many steps you've done throughout the day. And the gold standard these days is to get to that 10,000 step mark. Now, you might be thinking right away that that sounds like a lot. The biggest thing you have to remember is you don't have to get all that walking done at once. You can break it up throughout the day and get the same benefits. In fact, I'd even argue that it's better if you do end up breaking it up, simply because it gets you out of prolonged periods where you're completely sedentary. Again, you're designed to move. That's why you have feet. Otherwise, you'd be rooted to the ground and you'd be a tree. Now, if you go past your maximum aerobic heart rate when you start running or even power walking because you feel like that's a better workout because it burns more calories, your body's preferred fuel choice shifts from burning fat at lower intensity to an ever-increasing percentage of glucose because it's quicker and easier to burn when oxygen is lacking from your fast pace. You know, when you start huffing and puffing. The crazy part here is when you burn glucose during your workout, you're also teaching your body to burn sugar at rest, even after your workout, because your body always adapts to whatever fuel source is always available. Again, your body is really smart. It's an adaptation machine. This is why you're always craving something starchy or sugary after a long, hard run. And it's unbelievably easy to undo all the benefits you got from your workout from just one bad meal. Now, I'm not saying you should never go for a run here. Once or twice a week, do it. It has its own benefits. But if your goal is to just be a healthy and happy human being and look good shirtless while you're at it, you should do way more walking than running. Number three, walking brings a boatload of benefits on top of fat loss. Here's a short list. You get improved cardiovascular function, which means your heart can pump more blood throughout your body. Walking helps lower your fasting blood glucose. Your fasting blood glucose is directly tied to the amount of insulin your body needs to produce in order to stabilize your blood sugar levels. And I've mentioned many times in my other videos why moderating insulin is key to losing fat. You also get improved mitochondrial density. It strengthens your bones, joints, and connective tissues. It builds a stronger immune system. Other physical, mental, and emotional health benefits of walking are also well documented. Physically, you're gonna have a much lower chance of getting a heart attack and stroke, which is one of the 4 major killers in North America. Research also shows that people who walk more get better sleep. If you have metabolic syndrome, and recent stats show that 88% of American adults have some form of metabolic dysfunction, and prediabetes is part of metabolic syndrome, research has shown that walking is twice as effective for managing high blood sugar compared to prescription medication like metformin. This is especially true if you do multiple 10-minute walks rather than one long walk at the end of the day. Again, that's why it's better if you break it up. Walking after a meal has also been shown to decrease the blood sugar response by up to 40%. This most likely has to do with the fact that you're giving your body a reason to use up some of that glucose you ingested from your last meal. You're burning it for energy right away, which means that it won't get stored as fat. Number 4, it's unbelievably beneficial for your mental health. The importance of taking care of your mental health has been garnering more attention these days, which is awesome. You definitely need to take care of what's going on in between your ears first. So if you have access to a park, a trail, or a body of water like a lake or the ocean, you should do your walks there, because time spent in nature, aka forest bathing, is unbelievably beneficial for your mental health. It helps with reducing stress, anxiety, and depression. And walking is free. You also get increased energy because you always feel good and refreshed after your walk. If I ever feel lethargic throughout the day, that's usually a sign that it's time to go for a walk. And I always come back feeling 10 times better afterwards. Number 5, walking promotes optimal gene expression. Our Paleolithic ancestors regularly walked for 5 miles every day. Again, we're genetically designed to move. The problem is most people don't even walk 5 kilometers these days. The bigger problem is the mostly sedentary lifestyle we've adapted as a society. And I used to be guilty of this. Like, it's not uncommon for people to spend a minimum of 8 hours just sitting during their waking hours. This is especially true if you have a student or you have a desk-bound job. We barely move, and nothing shuts down your fat-burning metabolism faster than prolonged periods where you're completely sedentary. For every hour of stillness, you need to move for at least 5 minutes. Go for a walk. You'll always feel better afterwards. Number 6, learn while walking. This is honestly one of my favorite habits that I've adapted into my lifestyle because it's made such a huge difference. My only regret is I wish I started it sooner. I combine walking and learning at the same time. I switched from reading a physical book to listening to audiobooks while walking, and it's literally changed my life. I went from reading 1 book a month, if I was lucky, to consuming 1 or 2 books every week. And my favorite app for this is Audible, but there are tons of free apps out there and tons of free audiobooks you can download. You can also listen to podcasts. Number 7, turn walking into social time. I don't drink, and I also do intermittent fasting, so I have to come up with creative ways and plan my social life around other things that doesn't involve drinking or eating. The solution? You guessed it. Walking. It's honestly become one of my favorite go-to date activities, or just something I do with friends other than going for coffee. Or we meet up for coffee and then we go for a walk. It's so much more engaging because it's a shared experience. You're moving around, all your senses are being engaged. It's so much easier to make conversation because you're changing your scenery. You get to notice your surroundings, which gives you more talking points. And if you're on a date, it's so much easier to initiate physical contact. Number 8, substitute walking for scheduled meals. One of the biggest stumbling blocks for a lot of people why they don't end up walking is they don't have time. And I get it, we're all busy. So how do you make time? Well, I mentioned earlier that I do intermittent fasting, which means I don't eat breakfast. Most of the time, I don't even eat lunch. That in itself, not worrying or thinking about food for most of the day, will free up a lot of your time to go for a walk and generally just be more productive. I personally just eat 1 meal a day. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you check out all my other videos about intermittent fasting. Number 9, integrate it as part of your lifestyle. I used to live in a high-rise building, and I'm always blown away when I see people wait for the elevator when they're just going 1 floor up. Like, why? Usually it takes twice as long when you wait for the elevator rather than just taking the stairs. Like, unless you're physically unable to walk up a flight of stairs, what are you doing? You can walk to the gym if it's within walking distance from your house. Walking is a great warm-up for your workout, and then when you're working out, walk in between sets. Don't just sit around scrolling through your phone. This is why people's workouts take twice as long these days. You need to do more lifting and less scrolling. If you're shopping, don't be one of those people who drives around for 10 minutes looking and waiting for that perfect parking spot close to the door. All the spots that are a little bit further away are always open. Doing little things like that is how you add a couple of extra 100 steps here and there. Next thing you know, you've hit that 10,000 step mark, no problem. If you have a treadmill at home, don't just let it collect dust. Get on it while watching TV. You can also take calls while walking. That's actually something I do all the time. Like, if you end up talking on the phone for 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes of walking. If you have the option to get a stand-up desk at work, you should do that. I mean, it also helps with your posture. Like, the term sitting is the new smoking is a little bit exaggerated, but it's honestly not that far off. Sitting is a disease and walking is the cure. Did you know that standing for 3 hours every day instead of sitting has the equivalent calorie consumption benefit as running 10 marathons a year? Crazy, right? If you're traveling and you have a layover, walk around the airport. It's a great way to help pass time. Go for a walk after dinner or after every meal. Again, walking after a meal increases insulin sensitivity by up to 30% and it lowers the blood glucose response by up to 50%. That's mind-blowing just by simply walking. The faster you can regulate your blood glucose and insulin, the faster you're gonna lose fat. Number 10, pair walking with other supportive lifestyle choices. Think of walking as just one of the many tools in your health and weight loss toolbox. If your goal is fat loss, walking only plays a supporting role when it comes to getting results. You can't just depend on it. It's not a magic pill. You can't just go for a walk and expect to build muscle. It doesn't work like that. You can't keep eating a crappy diet and start walking 10,000 steps a day and expect the pounds to come off. You can't outrun a bad diet, or for this scenario, you can't outwalk a bad diet. You also want to make sure you're getting adequate and quality sleep. Make sure you're managing your stress levels. Again, walking is an unbelievably powerful way when it comes to managing stress. You want to make sure you're doing some form of resistance training at least a couple of times a week to maintain and build muscle. But most importantly, you want to make sure you dial in your nutrition. Make sure you're eating a diet that moderates your insulin levels. Revolve your diet around plants and animals. Make sure you're eating a diet that mostly consists of single ingredient, mostly unprocessed, nutrient-dense foods. If you don't, you'll still get a lot of the benefits of walking. But fat loss, unfortunately, won't be one of them. And if you're new to this, just start slow. Start with a 10-minute walk and just increase the frequency from there. And if you combine all those supportive lifestyle choices and start getting your 10,000 steps every day by integrating all the tips I mentioned in this video, walking might just become one of your most powerful tools when it comes to achieving your health and wellness goals. You're gonna be a lean walking machine. The next question then becomes, how are you actually supposed to eat if you want to lose weight? Because here's the thing, 80% of your body composition is determined by your diet. You can't just freestyle this part. Do you have a proven plan that you can follow? To help you with that, I want to give you a free copy of my Lean Body Blueprint. This is how I melted all the fat around my stomach without depriving myself of my favorite foods or wasting hours at the gym. It's a simple 4-step process specifically designed for busy professionals, and it's the exact same blueprint that I teach to all my private coaching clients, and they've all gone to see some amazing results. If you want to be the next success story, then download your free copy of the Lean Body Blueprint right now. There's going to be a link somewhere at the top here or in the description box. Just click on it, type in your email, and I'll send it to you right away. All right, that's all I've got. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave a comment below if you have any questions about this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Virtual high five.